Hello, and welcome to the My VA Dayton podcast, where we dive deep into the stories and experiences for those who have served our country and explore the importance of ensuring veterans receive the care and benefits they deserve. I'm your host, Gregory Tucker. Today, our guest is Navy veteran Yolanda Howard. Yolanda, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
I would like to start out with asking why and what inspired you to join the military?
You know, the funny story, my husband at the time was in active duty Navy. He was a CB, and his tour of duty had ended. And being a Navy spouse, I said, oh, wait a minute, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to not be a Navy spouse anymore. You got to keep going. He says, no, I'm done. And so he did his 6 years, and he separated from the Navy. And I kept thinking, I can't do the civilian life. It's just not for me. And so I applied to go active duty Navy, but because, as a woman, I had 4 dependents. I was told, well, we can't use you active duty because you have too many dependents. So I opted to go reserve. And I figured, where there's a will, there's a way. I'll go to reserves, and then I'll find my way active duty. And so I went reserves. And when I went reserve, I was connected with the Spec War Unit, Special Warfare Unit, which was Navy SEAL component, support personnel, sorry. And so through them, I was able to do so much active duty and just have so many different experiences, long-term Navy on active duty. So that was my inspiration, was really my ex's departure of the Navy.
So, how many duty stations during your career were you based in?
I was in several. So I was in Puerto Rico, Rota, Spain, Germany, San Diego, California, again, Norfolk, Virginia, the Amphib base in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and then just various places stateside.
Now, what did you do prior to joining the military?
Again, prior to joining the military, I was actually, I started going to school. Again, I was a spouse, so my job was a housewife. But I worked as the spouse of a active duty member on base. Commissary, different office management positions. But then I started going to school and worked on getting my associate's degree in computer programming, and then later down the road, I ended up getting my bachelor's degree in human services.
In the Navy, what was your job?
I was a supply clerk. So we basically supplied. Being a supply person in the Navy was what I would call a well-rounded position, because you do so many different things. You can be the cook. You can issue supplies, do inventory, all avenues of logistics and procurement and acquisitions. Also, kicking boxes. You're kicking boxes. You might even operate a crane at some point. So, which I had. So, yeah.
What provided you the opportunity for us to go ahead and make that transition to active duty?
Well, again, it was the deployment to Iraq. We were called to active duty for a 12-month tour in Iraq to run. By this time, I was with the Department of Logistics Agency, DLA. And so we were called to duty to operate the dermo yard, still in supply. So, which the dermo yard was more like the Navy's junkyard. So you go where battle damaged vehicles were taken in and transported to different locations, different equipment, computer equipment or sensitive equipment, other equipments that we didn't want to get in the hands of the wrong people. We demilitarized, which In other words, we destroyed and then shipped them off to different locations. Initially, when I was a part of the Navy SEAL support team, we trained a lot. We trained like Navy SEALs trained. We trained with them. We were a part of them. We did missions with them, training evolutions with them. And so there was a thought in the back of my mind that it would be possible while I was with that unit. And at some point prior to that happening, I transferred from the Navy support unit to DLA. Right after I transferred is when the deployment came. So I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. This isn't happening right now. But I'm ready for it. And I'm okay with it, because, one thing that I will say about, being a part of the military, is that we volunteered for it, but we volunteered in the belief that we were truly serving our country, and we were gung-ho and ready, fired up and ready to go.
Being a mom, was that pretty hard to leave your children?
At the time, my kids were, they were older teenagers, 16, 17. So no, it wasn't hard. It wasn't that hard for me. Again, I had the thought in the back of my mind that this was going to be, this could possibly be a situation. My kid's dad, my husband, was there in the backdrop to take care of the kids. And so, it was our teamwork. He and I worked so well together that I had no concerns with my leaving. I had all my ducks in a row. If anything were to happen adversely, God forbid, everything was taken care of.
And now we're going to go ahead and take a brief break.
Our veterans put everything on the line to protect our freedom. We may never be able to repay them for their sacrifice, but we can show them just how much we appreciate all they've done. Every day, hundreds of people just like you volunteer to help our veterans. You can help by simply sharing your time, lending a warm smile, a supportive hand, or a sympathetic ear to someone who needs it. Everyone can do something to make our veterans know how much we appreciate their service. What will you do?
The Dayton VA changed my life. There was a time I was jobless and homeless, didn't know where to turn for help. I felt like there was no hope for me. Then I learned about the Dayton VA. They helped me find the help I needed to get back on track. I received support, got a job, found a place to live. I got my life back.
Don't wait another day to see how the VA may help you.
I'm a vet, and it's my VA. Make it your VA today.
To enroll, call 937-268-6511, extension 5336, or visit dayton.va.gov.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Veteran service organizations, often known as VSOs, offer many services for veterans and their families. To learn more, go to va.gov.
Welcome back to My VA Dayton. Today we have Navy veteran Yolanda Howard here with us. Now, Yolanda, after returning from Iraq and completing your obligation with the Navy, you transitioned back into civilian life. How was that transition after being in a fast-paced environment? Now you're coming back into the world where things tend to slow down a bit.
It was tough. It was tough for a long time. Understanding that we were on 2 different time zones, so we were literally 24 hours difference in time. The adjustment to the time was tough. I slept all day and was up all night until I adjusted to that part. I know there was a little bit of depression may have set in a little bit, because it was like, you're working. It was a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week duty. And so every day there's something going on. Every day you're doing something. We were allotted 2 days to just rest and recuperate. Or I'm sorry, I take that back. 1 day to rest and recuperate. So for me, I couldn't find that balance anymore. You know, just having a regular restroom and not a porta john, taking a shower without there being a concern of whether the water was going to be hot or cold, those sort of things. It was tough, not being with my extended family, being back with my family, but not my extended family, looking for, waiting for those to hear the bombs go off, or waiting to hear the planes take off. It was very different, to say the least. Ironically, I would wager to say that I was ready to go back before I was ready to adjust. So I did get assistance from the vet center, because I was still in the military, so I didn't want to jeopardize my career. I planned on being a lifer, and so I didn't want to jeopardize that by with my struggle of coming back stateside. But I was constantly looking for another, I have to go back. I have to do something. I have to go somewhere.
Now, what did you do after? Now you're out of the military, you're out of the Navy. Now you're in civilian life. So what career path, or what did you decide upon?
So I ended up going back to school. That's when I acquired my bachelor's degree in human services. Looking to get into some counseling services, or substance abuse or something to that effect, which I did. I ended up after I completed my bachelor's degree, I moved to Florida, started working for the VA in Florida, worked several years there. And then I came back to Ohio and became a substance abuse counselor here. I started working towards a degree in social work and marriage and family therapy. But I think I found my most gratification in the substance abuse arena, just really focusing and trying to help people who needed those services, and that was both veterans as well as civilians.
Oh, okay. So you were in a civilian sector as far as working with the
Yes, I was in the civilian sector.
We're going to take another break, and then we're going to come back and talk about a little bit more about your experience with the VA.
I was in the military. I didn't know that when I left, I was eligible for health care through the VA. I thought you had to be disabled or have been wounded. Another vet told me I should check it out. Now, I have the care I need at the Dayton VA.
Don't wait another day to see how the VA may help you.
I'm a vet, and it's my VA. Make it your VA today.
Call 937-268-6511, extension 2159 to enroll, or visit dayton.va.gov.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. If you're having a tough time or thinking about suicide, you're not alone, and there's hope. VA's Veterans Crisis Line has responders who listen and help. Many are veterans or have veteran family members and friends, so they're prepared to address your challenges. Don't wait. Dial 988, then press 1.
And welcome back to My VA Dayton. I'm with Navy veteran Yolanda Howard. Yolanda was sharing with us prior to the prior break how she utilized the services at the VA along far as with the vet center. Why did you feel that left you exposed, or share with me your feelings?
Well, again, when you talk about PTSD, you talk about anxiety, you talk about depression, you talk about all of those things as it relates to veterans, or anyone, there is that stigma, right? And so, you talk about walking into this huge building with tons and tons of people all over the place. And, that stigma just written all over your forehead type of feel. And so that was a definite pause, for me. And so, going to the vet center, on the other hand, is a smaller facility. It's less intimidating, if you will. And, thankfully, post COVID now and all of that, you can even do appointments telehealth and by phone. So that was a huge thing for me, because I was just that tough girl. Some of us are just those tough girls, and we can't let them see us sweat. I grew up in that era back then, right? So
Okay.
that was a huge part of it also.
Okay. Now, let's go to the PACT Act. Have you registered for the PACT Act?
I have registered for the PACT Act, based on the exposure to the burn pits. It appeared to me to be a very seamless, painless process. You spoke to a medical professional. They asked you a few questions and made notes of it, talked to you about, some information that they had to share with you in terms of the possibility of applying for disability benefits based on whatever exposure you may have had, or whatever, if you have a diagnosis of any kind that is related to the burn pit and that sort of thing.
Okay. So that you had gotten your toxic screening.
Right.
Now, we do, part of my job, approach veterans who are not enrolled in the VA, along with sharing information and having assisting veterans register for the PACT Act also. So if you were telling some of your shipmates why they should enroll for VA healthcare, what would that be?
I would highly encourage each and every one to register with the VA for healthcare. Just for number one, it's a part, they're entitled to the coverage, right? And it has been my experience that I've gotten really good care through the VA. The VA offers a lot of different information with regards to, health care, what's available, what's not available, that sort of thing. I mean, it's a really good opportunity to get connected into your healthcare if you're not, whether you're going to a private doctor, and especially if you don't have a doctor at all, I would highly encourage it. I've had some fantastic providers at the VA that I tell you, I call them just to say, hey, I miss you. You've been on vacation. I miss you. Glad to see you back at work, because they actually, they make me feel like they care.
And the VA does have a women's clinic as well. Okay.
Yes, I do go to the women's clinic.
And what about the PACT as far as registering with that?
As far as registering for the PACT Act, again, it's very informative, because again, you are asked certain questions with regards to your exposure, what that was like, what it looked like, if you have experienced any symptoms of any kind, and if you have experienced any symptoms, whether or not it's related to the PACT Act, whether it's not it's related to possible exposure to the burn pit or whatnot. So it really educates you as to what you may have, what you may be experiencing. So for example, a lot of us, we don't want to go to the doctor. We don't want to get checked out. And we think, oh, this cough or this scratch or this or this, that, it's just normal to go away in a couple of weeks. But it doesn't go away and you just kind of ignore it. Whereas, you go and you get the exam and the doctor says, oh, wait, that was related to the burn pit. You might want to talk to your provider about that.
And most importantly, it's painless for us to register and to go through the toxic screening as well.
Right.
Okay. Well, with that, we're going to be wrapping things up right here. I want to say thank you for your service, Yolanda, for all that you've done for us. And also, thank you for appearing on the program and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me. Again, I really appreciate being here and just having the opportunity to spend this time with you. Thank you so much.
As we come to the end of the program, I want to extend a heartfelt call to action to all veterans listening. Your service to our country has earned you not only our eternal gratitude, but also a range of benefits and support through organizations like the Dayton VA Medical Center. If you're a veteran who hasn't enrolled yet in VA healthcare or explored your earned benefits, I urge you to take that step today. Your health and well-being are paramount, and the VA is here to provide the care and support you deserve. Reach out to the Dayton VA Medical Center to learn more about the benefits available to you and to enroll in the healthcare services that are rightfully yours. Don't hesitate to take advantage of the resources and assistance available to you as a veteran. Thank you for your service, and remember, you're not alone. The VA is here for you. I'm Greg Tucker. Thank you for listening.